honestly, we're really excited to play in the Gator Bowl. Every day we come out here to compete. That's what I can say about this team. We love to compete, and so every day there's really no days off with us. We come here every day ready to work and just ready to get each other better. Because at the end of the day, that's all we can do right now is just work on ourselves and try to get each other better.
Here come the Irish. What a run! Touchdown! Play of the year for the Irish.
Welcome to the ND on NBC Podcast presented by Salesforce. I'm your host, Corey Robinson. We are here at the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl. This is the time. Number 19 Notre Dame takes on number 20 South Carolina. Does this game matter? No. I'm sorry. In my personal opinion, I don't think it really matters. Both teams are 8-4. Both teams have shown flashes of brilliance, beating some very good teams. And I mean, the only other way I could think about it is a very sad sizzle on the other side where you're like, how did you lose that game? So both teams, I think, are equally confusing going into this game. And I understand you want to put a nice cap to the first year of Marcus Freeman's reign as head coach at Notre Dame. But to me, this is more of a formality more than anything else. Michael Mayer is not playing. Very smart decision. He declared for the NFL draft. Don't get injured. And then Isaiah Foskey is not playing. He's going to the NFL as well. So when we look at this game, there are a couple questions that immediately jump out. None more important than, well, who's throwing the ball? Drew Pine announced his transfer, and he ended up choosing Arizona State. So he's gone. Remember, he was the backup. And he, after Tyler Buckner got injured, came in and then took Notre Dame to win basically an 8-2 record. So including a pretty impressive streak there against some top 25 opponents. I think he matured tremendously as a quarterback. And this next step to me was was very surprising. It really shook me. I was thinking, why? But then I kind of went back and I realized that his time at Notre Dame was interesting in the fact that there's always like the question of, well, who's going to start? Is it going to be Tyler Buckner? Is it going to be Drew Pine? I remember this was kind of the same question with Jack Cohn as well. Like, well, who's the number two? Who's playing? This is a recurring theme during his time at Notre Dame. And you think about, well, what is his dream? And once again, I don't know this. We're not privy to Drew Pine's thoughts. But it is fascinating in this era of college football where in 4 years you could, in theory, go to 4 schools. So it's much more like a trade school preparing you for the NFL. If you get 1 year or a couple of years doing your dream, then that's not a bad answer. I mean, this guy grew up a Notre Dame fan. He idolized Brady Quinn, got to be the guy for a season, took him to an 8-2 record, won some big games. That's awesome. Maybe that part of that dream was fulfilled for him, and now he wants to go be the de facto starter, the guy, have a chance to run a program for the entire season without looking over the shoulder, who's coming back, who's, is this really my team, is it not? And then maybe that is his next dream. Who knows? So I have empathy for that kind of thought process, especially in today's fluid kind of free agency that is college football. But what does that mean for you and I, Notre Dame fans? It means that Tyler Buckner is going with the ones. And it's interesting because Tyler Buckner had surgery on his non-throwing shoulder back in September, which should immediately raise some alarms. You're thinking, okay, well, Tyler Buckner is an injury-prone guy. I think he's very talented. I'm very high on him. But the fact of the matter is that he gets injured often. He got injured in high school. He gets injured, in college multiple times. So I'm thinking, okay, I know they would never rush someone back, but it does give me pause to think, is this really the right decision for a game that, once again, does not matter? I feel like you're putting yourself in the program in a precarious position, understanding full well that you're probably going to go shopping for a quarterback in the offseason because college football is now like the NFL. It's never a bad time to go shopping for a quarterback. So you're expecting, someone's going to come in the transfer portal, but still it's like, really? Just let him rest. My personal opinion. But Marcus Freeman came out recently saying that Tyler Buckner is going with the ones, Steve Angeli is getting reps with the 2s, and Ron Paulus with the 3s. So that's something to look at. I mentioned Michael Mayer is not playing. Michael Mayer caught a lot of footballs, got a lot of touchdowns. Who will catch them now? Great question. I got a chance to sit down with Deion Colzie, who had really a beautiful game against USC. Finally, a moment that showcased, his talents. I think this could be a breakthrough moment. I thought we were going to see that way earlier, but he battled some injuries. Now, this could be the moment. He spoke to me about looking at that void on the offense production. where he thinks he fits in, and also how he's grown as a leader going into his junior season. Take a listen. And now it is my absolute pleasure to welcome in Deion Colzie to the podcast. Deion, first and foremost, I just want to say it's very nice to be able to sit down and talk with you. I remember when Tommy Rees told me that earlier, I think it was, I'm not sure when it was, but he said one of the guys that we really trust out there is Deion. And I thought that was such an amazing thing for an offensive coordinator to say about a young receiver. So I guess, how do you build up that trust at such a young age with the offensive coordinator?
I think it's just coming to practice every day, coming into the facilities every day, ready to learn, ready to work. I just have a mentality that, I get 1% better every day. The sky's the limit for what I can do. So I come in every day with my head down, ready to work, ready to learn, and just ask my coaches anything. Like if I have a question, I ask. If I need something to be talk to me more clearly about, I ask. Like I don't really hesitate when it comes to asking questions and figuring everything out.
How do you get to that place maturity-wise? So young to be able to say, okay, well, I don't need necessarily to be graded on performance per se. It's more about getting that 1% better. That's a real big shift. I'm curious, where did that come from?
Well, actually, Coach Stuck does a really good job of expressing that to us every day. Just making sure that we're at least getting 1% better. As long as we're not staying, he doesn't want us to stay the same at all. You know what I mean? So 1% better every day, and you just build on that over time. You obviously become better and more productive player.
So you are coming off of a big game, USC. I feel like it was just recently, but it wasn't. It was like weeks ago. But first career touchdown against that. Can you walk me through that feeling when you scored in such a insane rivalry against the Heisman Trophy winner led team USC? What was that moment like for you?
Obviously it was a special moment. I've obviously been waiting for that one to come, and I'm happy that it came in that game. I'm just trying to, towards the end of the season, once I got back healthy, I just wanted to, just work as hard as I can and earn those opportunities and make sure that when those opportunities came, I could capitalize off of it.
Who did you call first? Who was the first call or text after that touchdown?
Definitely my mom. Even though she was at the game, I still afterwards, she was the first one I celebrated with. She told my whole family, it was a really big deal for us.
What has been that journey like for you to be able to go on that journey with your mom? I mean, it's such a rare thing, I feel like to be able to have family, go to those away games and stuff. What has it been like to walk with her in this journey?
It's honestly been amazing. I can truly say my mom is my best friend. So like just having her at every single game, like she didn't miss a single game this season, and she's planning on coming to the bowl game, of course. So just having her in the stands and knowing that, I have supporters besides, my teammates, obviously, and my coaches. It's just, it gives me an edge, and it gives me like, a why to why I want to work hard and why I want to be successful.
That's wonderful. You mentioned the bowl game. I'm very curious right now, what exactly is the mood? Because when I was playing football, everyone played in the bowl games. Like that was just like a given. So like no one opted out and there were no transfers. Like it was like it was very different. And that was only a few years ago. Now, what exactly is the mood going into this game?
Honestly, we're really excited to play in the Gator Bowl. Those who opted out have their reasons, and we don't really worry too much about that. Like they do what's best for them, and we respect that. We don't never go against anything that would put people in harm's way of what they're trying to do. So I mean, all in all, everyone's really excited to get down to the Gator Bowl and really just show the country what we can do.
And for you particularly, I'm curious, where is your mind going into this? Because you're coming off of this big game. You had that watershed moment with the touchdown. Michael Mayer is not playing. And so we're all about production, just like as far as just like who gets receptions and like who's going to get the ball. Where is your mind going into this game?
Honestly, my mind's going the same place it's been the whole year. Just put my head down, go to work, come out here to practice every day and earn my opportunities and earn the trust of the staff and the quarterbacks and every all 11 players on the field, and just know that when the time comes, I will get the opportunity, and I just got to make the most of it.
Who have you been working out with quarterback-wise?
All of them, to be honest. I've been working with all the quarterbacks.
Yeah. And so moving into this game, it's so interesting to me that kind of like the downtime to then ramp back up to play an SEC opponent.
Mm-hmm.
How have you handled this as a team? What exactly has been going on in the weeks since USC and leading up to this?
Honestly, we knew what type of challenge we have ahead of us. So, honestly, we put our trust in Coach Freeman, of course, to get us right on the practice end, and then we have all the faith in the world in Coach Bayless, our strength and conditioning coach, to make sure that we, continue to be in shape, running wise, strength wise. So we're in the weight room still. We're still working out. We're still just trying to stay in the flow of things, preparing like we have a game every week, even though, these past couple of weeks it's been down the road.
So competition wise, it's still like game level in practice with you guys.
Oh yeah, for sure. Every day we come out here to compete. That's what I can say about this team. We love to compete, and so every day there's really no days off with us. We come here every day ready to work and just ready to get each other better. Because at the end of the day, that's all we can do right now is just work on ourselves and try to get each other better.
And now let's kind of go back a little bit because just humor me for a second. This season, there's a lot of hype coming into this season. Top 5 ranking, and then a tough start. And then just kind of like, yo, we're rolling. So, like, can you, I guess, in your own words, how would you describe being, in the middle of that? Like, what was that like for you?
I will honestly say, Coach Freeman says this all the time, and I'm just going to kind of reiterate that. It's just like the bumpy road to better. All the times that you think everything is going to go in a straight line, but it's always some bumps, some curves in the line that you have to be ready for and that you have to face. And obviously at the beginning of the season, we had those bumpy roads and those bumps in the season, but we were able to, come together as a team and really figure things out. And after that, we just started to roll.
When was that moment? Was there like a specific defining moment where everything just kind of clicked, looking back?
I couldn't really be specific about a specific moment. I just know after those first 2 games, we obviously had a bitter taste in our mouth because we didn't start the season how we obviously wanted to start. So I think we came back with each other and got everything corrected, and we just looked each other in the eyes and held each other accountable for everything, and just we started to roll on and click from there.
So when just going back to you personally for a second too, it's so interesting to me when you look at, okay, well, how do you assess the past season? Now it's like that's set in stone, and then how do you move forward? So that first question, how would you assess your season personally, and what were you satisfied with? What were you dissatisfied with?
I feel like I had a decent season for the circumstances. I came early on in the season. I was battling a knee injury. And so I wasn't really feeling 100% myself until midway through the year. But once I started to feel 100%, I was very confident in what I could do and what I was capable of doing. And then just from there, it was just all about coming to work, getting better every day, learning things from the DBs, learning things from the receivers, from my coaches, just trying to be a better person, better player every single day. And as long as I kept doing that, those opportunities would come, and I was able to show that towards the end of the season.
And then moving forward, looking at this game, particularly this bowl game, the Gator Bowl, but then also in winter workouts in spring, what are you focusing on as an individual?
Honestly, I'm focusing on everything. Obviously coming into next year, I'm going to be a junior, so I'm going to have to be, a leader for the wide receiver room and the guy that we can 100% depend on. So just working on all aspects of my game, my leadership, my speed, my hands, just every little detail that I could possibly do just to make sure that I'm ready and I'm prepared for next year.
And this is the Indiana NBC podcast. So I always love to ask, about the student part of the student athlete. So, what are you studying? Where was your first dorm when you first got on campus? Where did you first live? What dorm?
I lived in Siegfried Hall. That's my first dorm. Yeah.
Nice. And do you have like any favorite, traditions that, as far as campus traditions or dorm traditions from Siegfried that you loved?
We had this kind of strange chant, but it was kind of cool sometimes. It's kind of like Siggy, 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 oi, oi, oi. It was kind of weird, but I mean, it was cool. It was cool sometimes.
When would you deploy the Siggy, 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 oi, oi, oi chant?
It would honestly be random moments. It was more towards the beginning of the year when we were kind of doing the whole campus, getting to know the campus, getting to know your dorm type of thing. And then obviously all the events and things where, you know, you're doing this together. That's kind of the moments when we did that.
What are your favorite Notre Dame traditions beyond just Siegfried, just in general?
Honestly, that there's a chapel in every single dorm. I think that's a great thing for people to be able to go into any dorm and know that there's a place for them to worship there. I love how everyone is wants to better each other, and no one comes in this looking for themselves. They're always trying to look out for others and support the community as well.
What is your favorite chapel on campus? I mean, there are some really cool ones.
Well, obviously the Basilica, but besides that, the only other one I've been in, honestly, is Siegfried.
Got you. If you can make it out to the log chapel, I'm telling you, that is like so cool. So with finals too, it's so interesting. You know, just kind of like give us a window into your life, because you're playing such big games, and then you're also doing everyone else is doing with finals. How did you manage, you know, like the stress levels of like, okay, I got finals at a top 20 university in the world, and in the country, and I also have to go play, you know, the South Carolina.
Honestly, it's not really as hard as it seems. It was just, you know, you have to work on your time management and dedicate time to football, obviously, and when those hours are up for football, you have to like make sure you dedicate time for school and to get your schoolwork done, or it could all come back to haunt you for sure. But as long as you, obviously, like I said, as long as you just manage your time well and know when and when not to be doing things, then you'll be great in that area.
What are you studying? What did you decide on major wise?
Political science.
Why?
It seemed more interesting to me than I was in finance at first, and I quickly figured out I'm not really a numbers guy, so switched over to political science route, and it's a lot more writing intensive, obviously, than finance, so it's a little more up my alley.
So just one last question on class. What is some of your, I guess, if you look back, do you have any favorite like all-time classes that just like, you know, a professor or a class that just really blew your mind?
Honestly, I would say Portuguese 1, which I took this past semester. That was a really fun class. It was a different language. I had to take a language, obviously, and I didn't want to take Spanish, so I decided to switch things up and take Portuguese instead, and I found out I really liked it.
Yeah, that is. I also took Portuguese. I had Sandra Teixeira, and she was like the best professor ever. Okay, so my last question before we wrap it up. I know you're a busy guy. What are your New Year's resolutions?
New Year's. If you're
comfortable sharing them. Do you even do New Year's resolutions? Is that a thing that you do?
I really don't, honestly. So that's a tough question. Football related or just in general?
Yeah, I mean, well, if you don't do New Year's resolutions, do you have like a New Year tradition? Yeah, do you what are your holiday traditions normally? What do you like to do?
Normally, I celebrate New Year's with my family, obviously. We usually go to church for New Year's. That's just the thing we've been doing since I was a little kid. So we normally go to church for New Year's and celebrate New Year's there. And then just walk into the new year with a fresh set of eyes and a clear mind.
That's all you can ask for. Well, thank you so much, Deion. I'm so excited to watch you continue to blossom as a receiver. Like I said, you're one of my favorite receivers to watch. So it was really cool to kind of see you have that moment at USC. I hope you continue to build on it, man. So best of luck to you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
This podcast is presented by Salesforce Customer 360, the world's #1 customer relationship management platform. At work or on the field, teamwork leads to amazing things. Unite your marketing, sales, commerce, service, and IT teams around a single shared view of every customer so they can work together and wow at every opportunity. Learn more at salesforce.com/customer360. Thank you, Deion. And also, I just want to say, we did that interview moments after Argentina won the World Cup, and I was watching on Telemundo, and Andres Cantor was screaming, Argentina, campeón del mundo, and it was just like the most beautiful. He started crying. It was like the most amazing moment, and I was like, Deion, are you watching this? Because everyone was watching in the locker room. So we're going to talk about soccer for a little bit. This is very exciting. I, of course, love watching the offensive line at Notre Dame do anything. I'm a huge offensive line, very pro offensive line, but that run game has been so good for Notre Dame. Of course, it's going to be good at this level too, but the receiving game, I am very curious to see if Deion can fill those shoes, or whoever else might step up? Will they still have chemistry? Being away for that long is a long time, especially when you're going against a South Carolina team that's coming off some big wins. And this is important to note. We're talking about Tennessee top 10 and Clemson top 10. I understand Clemson, we never know like just how good they are in the sense of like national championship contenders or a good bowl team. They're still good, obviously, but it's confusing just how good they are. But those two teams that South Carolina beat back-to-back, mind you, are playing in the Orange Bowl. So that South Carolina team is the one that we might see on December 30th. If that's the case, then that QB wide receiver connection could be very, very, very interesting. And also, you have to mention Spencer Rattler. So he's actually playing in this game, which I think is probably an interesting decision. Most times I would say, don't play if you want to go to the league, because you can't afford to get injured in a game that does not matter. However, I do think this is one of those instances where you can, if your play is inconsistent or has been inconsistent, and you want to really silence some of the doubters and the critics, this is a way to kind of put an emphasis, an exclamation point, much like how you would play in one of the senior games or senior bowls, where you get like a week of practice to get in front of scouts, just let people know, hey, like, I'm for real. These are some of my abilities, or I didn't get to showcase these talents in my system that I played in college. So if Spencer Rattler plays like he did against Tennessee, where he put up over 400 yards and 6 touchdowns, I think that's a very good outing for him. So I understand why he might do that. Other opt-outs for this game, it's important to mention running back Marshawn Lloyd announced his transfer, best running back on that roster, and the defensive back Cam Smith, also going to the NFL. So there's going to be some missing stars on both sides, but it should still be an interesting game. Cheer on the Irish Friday, December 30th at 3:30 p.m. when they take on South Carolina in the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl. Thank you so much for tuning in all season long and going on this journey with me. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a pleasure. Stay up to date on all things Notre Dame on the NBC Sports YouTube channel. With that, Happy New Year and go Irish.